Van from Snowling Podcast, and we're trying something new tonight, and hopefully it goes really well. Got Hal Armstrong with us tonight, and yeah, so let's get things started. First, let's take care of some sponsor stuff here. Um, we got the CKX on board again with us this year, and as you can see right here, I got one right here. It's a CKX mission helmet. Everybody's seen this awesome helmet, but something new we got this year is this helmet light from Break Free, and there it is right there. It's got three modes on it, and you can do that. You have steady, but what's really cool is watch this. What's what we do here? So it's got a cyclometer. You're the engineer here, Hal. It's got a cyclometer inside. So watch
Right.
this. When you put the brakes on, I'll just shake the helmet. There. Watch again. There. And then the other mode. There. Like that. You just shake it. So this works if you're braking or if you're on a four-stroke with the engine braking. Works really cool. It's
Oh, awesome.
rechargeable.
Nice.
So unlike the other helmet lights that are out there that are pretty darn dim anyway, um, this one is completely rechargeable. It's got eight hours of use out of it. Pretty cool. So yeah, if you're interested in something like this, um, they are available in Canada, and
Yeah.
the owners are in the States. But if you're interested, send me an email at snowmobilingpodcast@gmail.com. I'll be talking to the owner of Break Free, and we'll see what kind of interest we get. But Hal, you've been behind other snowmobiles in the snow dust, and those brake lights they get covered in snow. You can't see them.
Yeah. And
So this is
the thing that's nice about that helmet is, in the past, a lot of us would wear like the blaze orange helmets, so
yeah,
your buddies behind you could see you in the snow dust and that, and those helmets are getting tough to find now. So
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
that brake light set up there, you're sitting up nice and high. That's
Yeah.
going to be a real safety feature.
It's not getting covered in snow dust because the new tail lights now most of them are LEDs, so they don't generate any heat, so they don't melt the
Yeah,
snow. So
that's
this is
right.
sitting up really high, and see you just give it a little
Yeah.
bit, and the thing is bright as heck.
Oh
So
yeah.
this was
Nice.
originally made for motorcyclists, but I seen it and I tried it last year on in the wintertime in a snowmobile, and it works fantastic.
Yeah.
ATVing, ATVing, hell, even a bicycle helmet. I bet this would go on a bicycle helmet.
Yeah.
So,
So you could
um,
use it year round.
yeah, for sure. Like I use it on my Spider now, and yeah, use it in a snowmobile in the wintertime. It's super bright. You know, the other lights, they're either battery, the
Right.
lights that are inside the helmets, and they're good helmets and stuff like that. But the brake lights, the lights are just not that bright. And the other one, there's another one out that you have to have it hooked up to your visor plug. So it's always
Okay.
plugged in. You have this wire hanging out. This one's completely wireless. So
Yeah.
it's called Break Free. And yeah, if you're interested, send me an email, snowmobilingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do. Get some kind of deal going or something, some kind of discount code. So that's
Nice.
that. Take care of that business. All right. That's a beautiful mission helmet too. CKX has also got two new helmets this year that they introduced. One is that it's an adventure motorcycle helmet for adventure riding, and it's called the Atlas, and they got a new one called the Contact, which is a new
Okay.
snowmobile helmet, more budget minded. A lot of the same features. It hasn't got AWS, the breathing package, so it hasn't got that. So all that. So Hal, what's been going on?
Okay. Well, uh, what's going on? Well, Christmas is a week away, so everybody knows what that's all about. Getting shopping done and last minute preps for that. And but on the snowmobile front, for me, it goes basically 365 days out of the year. Big news for me this year was I finally got to go to Heydays, And all the years I've been in the sport, I had never been to heydays, so that kind of blew a lot of people away. And it didn't disappoint. I was on snowmobile overload there on the Saturday. Gord was down there, and of course, when we Arctic Cat released the Catalyst chassis, the number of people there, it was just insane. And real happy for Arctic Cat. Looks like they've got a really cool sled coming out next year. I think a lot of us were hoping maybe their snowcross sled this year might be based on that platform, but it isn't. But for everything I've heard so far, um, they're going to obviously just sell these things out in no time. There's such a pent up demand from Arctic Cat
Yeah.
enthusiasts, and even all the manufacturers that were there. I was talking to engineers from Polaris and Skidoo, and they really liked what they saw. It's good for the sport that Arctic's back. Textron showing some confidence in the brand and bringing it back. So just nothing but good things for that. And then of course, with my Time Machine Vintage page on Facebook, I wanted to see the swap meet there, and it was didn't disappoint. There was everything there that you could dream of. So if you were building a new sled, looking for parts, or just wanting to see some crazy one-off stuff, like there was a red line machine there. I think it was number one or two or three build. It was absolutely mint. It was there for sale. So there was stuff I hadn't even seen, and great display by the Valdi by Valdi with all the triples. They had a tent set up there, the American Vintage Snowmobile Club, and some really nice machines there, and they even had a bunch of the old vintage sleds, which a lot of people got a kick of going down the grass drag circuit there after those unbelievable hyper sleds. So
Yeah,
that was fun.
that retro Arctic Cat was pretty neat.
Yeah, so the whole heydays thing was wow. Sometimes you got these things built up in your mind, and then it can be a lunch bag letdown. But boy, it didn't disappoint. It was amazing. So I got that going on. Of course, a lot of stuff with Snow Tech, vintage articles out between myself and Greg Marrier, uh, and we seem to be getting good response from that. So I've got a new one coming out soon on the Alouette Super Brute, or Super Brute, yeah, the '74 Super Brute. That was the one with the headlight built into the handlebars and the ski Zorber suspension, and so that was a really cool sled. So I got to talk to some of the fellows that actually worked for Alouette at the time. Pierre Roulette, who was the chief engineer for Alouette, and he's a really neat guy to talk to. Lives just outside of Montreal, and one of the test riders that worked for Alouette back in the day. So we've got a lot of good info from people that actually were involved in the manufacture and design and building of those. And then of course the fellow that actually did the design for that sled just before he passed away, Morley Smith. I actually interviewed him a few months prior to his passing away, and so Morley was the guy behind the Alouette Super Brute, all the styling and that. So that story's coming up in a future article at some point, and yeah, just waiting for my media sled, demo sled from Polaris this year. I'm going to be running the XC 137 with the Pro Star 135 Cobra track, but it's delayed from Polaris, just like a lot of people. So yeah, people always think media people might get preference, but no, we're not. This will be the second sled in 3 years that I probably won't see till mid-February. So hopefully there's a lot of snow left and I get some ride time on it. But I was interested to try that new four-stroke and the new clutch, and just to see how that goes. So um, I also have a 22 XCR 650 that I was my media sled last year that I bought. I was so impressed with it. And of course, like everyone, we're all waiting now on the recall with the fuel pump assembly. So I'm on the list also at my dealer here in Fergus, Ontario, waiting for that part to arrive. So, anyways, what can you do? It is what it is.
Yeah, what's the time frame on getting those parts? The dealers are they're selling sleds and also fixing the recalled sleds up and
Right.
get them out the
So
door.
my dealer here, they've got all their, I was in to see them on Friday. They've got all their 23 sleds and 22s that came late, all done. So that was priority number one. And it looks like the way it's going now is 2022s get next go around. So, and it's a lot of work. Like talking to the mechanics there, it's about a 90-minute repair, and a good 30 to 20 minutes of that, they're telling me, is doing all the documentation. So they get the kit. The kit, I believe, has got to match up with the VIN number on your sled. So you can't just go buy one of these kits and throw it in yourself at the garage. Polaris is documenting everything. So a lot of documentation by the dealers at their end that they have to send into Polaris to make sure that your machine has been upgraded. So I'm just on the waiting list, just like everyone else. So I'll be
Yeah,
riding my '96 XCR 440 for a while if the trail's open here. Between now and Christmas. So we'll see what happens.
yeah. Okay, we've got got some listeners coming on there. Blaine, yeah, Blaine, we're going to get to the Beaujolais race in a second here. Yeah, you're right. There was excellent races there last weekend, and we're going to talk about the Fargo race this weekend. Great racing going on there too. The first races of each series, and both of them are great. So the the sled that you're getting, are they being held up right now in production, or are they waiting to fix the issues there?
I think it's just a production issue, but honestly, I don't know what's going on there. You know, I don't know, so I can't say.
Yeah,
I've seen some dealers seem to have some models of the ProStar four-stroke in stock. Like the Voyager model and that. So they seem to be coming in, and the manufacturers seem to build these sleds in different production runs, right? So years ago, I was at the Skidoo plant, and they seemed to build in three production runs. So they would do their first lot might be some of the spring order sleds, and then they would build a variety of models, and then in the second go round in the fall, they'd build another uh, you know, uh, variety of models, and then the third production run, they'd build the rest. So I guess for Polaris, it's probably the same, and everybody else. I mean, I talking to fellows waiting for new Skidoo sleds, and they're still on, still waiting. So I think it's just luck of the draw, really. Last year, I was the XCR. I was told it wasn't going to show up till February, and then 2 weeks later, my dealer called and said it's here. Come and pick it up. So I picked it up on Christmas Eve day.
nice, nice.
So you never know. Supply chain issues. I'm in manufacturing. The industry I work in, for the most part, supply chain issues have they've kind of been alleviated now. So, but for Polaris, might be something else going on. Don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So what are you working on? Your last article in SnowTech, a vintage rider. What was that about? And what are you working on now?
Well, I've always got a few irons in the fire, so I put things out on time machines just to see where I get a lot of interest. Um, so it's a couple of probably I'm going to be doing a story at some point on the Merck's Trail Twister. That was always an interesting sled. I've got some background work going on right now with some former Skidoo people on the twin trackers. I did do the first twin track, the evolution of that, the back in the early '80s. So now I'm looking at maybe doing, the last production run of the twin trackers that Skidoo built back in the day. That one always interested me, so got some irons in the fire on that one. Basically, what I try and do is I try and do a story every 2 years on one of the four OEMs that are still here, so that they get something in the magazine, and then I'll try and do something else, right? So like this year I did the Alouette, and in the past I've touched on a lot of the different defunct brands, but The Merc Trail Twister seems to be definitely an interest in that one. Some of the old 73, it's 50 years now. Some of those 73 stalkers, hot stalkers, were show a lot of interest. So yeah, I basically what's ever. I mean, everybody loves the old triples, right? So um, I've got one there, video of a 1971 649 647, I think it is, triple Skidoo Blizzard, and I've got over 400,000 views, believe it or
Really?
not,
Yeah.
on this Skidoo firing up and then going for a rip across the yard on it. And then same at Heydays, there was a fellow there with a 74 clone 650 Polaris Snow Pro and a 71 439 triple TX racer, and people just love to hear those old triple pipe race sleds run. It just it blows me away.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
those things generate a lot of interest. So years ago, I wrote a story on the on all of that for Snow Tech, and we put it back up on the onto the magazine once in a while, and it sure generates a lot of interest. Right now, I got the 72 Brute story up on there, and a lot of people, they've never heard of those. So there's a lot of new people in the sport, as you know, and they get a kick out of these old vintage sleds.
Yeah. Have you ever done one on the Skidoo Formula 3 sleds, the Mach 1 X's
Yeah,
and stuff like that? Did you do one of
yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
did. So I've done the
You did the
Mach 2, the
Yamaha.
triple.
Yeah,
I
you did the
did
Yamaha.
the 2 years ago. I did the, the Skidoo Formula MX ZX. I think
Yeah.
it was around 85, 86. It actually had a coupled rear suspension in it, and
That was the
Lanny
pro
Benoit
stock.
Lanny Benoit ran that sled with a lot of success. So yeah, I've done a lot of the Skidoo stuff too.
Yeah.
Worked a lot with Gerard Carpick on those also. He's been a big help for me. Because he was instrumental in a lot of those early snow crossers, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yep.
was in there building them, the pro stockers with them,
Yeah,
along with everybody else.
right.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of sleepless nights those nights too, building those
Yep.
things. Um, so yeah, Mark Johnson's joined us. Is this the same Mark Johnson that keeps messaging me every time I post a Yamaha picture? He always chirps in about when's Yamaha gonna get back in racing. I wonder if that's the same Mark Johnson. Every time I post a picture, that guy's always messaging me. So.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people would want to know if when Yamaha wants to get back into racing, but I guess they got to figure out their chassis first. Yeah, he responded. Yeah, it is the same Mark Johnson. All right, Mark, welcome. Um, so yeah, you're looking good, Al.
Okay.
So yeah, you're good. So Beaujolais, what a weekend, and those guys did an amazing job. That track was freaking amazing.
Oh, it was
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
Unbelievable the way those
Hats off to the whole CPTC group there.
yeah.
That track was just
Yeah,
top notch.
unbelievable. So wide and smooth. Unfortunately, I was supposed to go out there to work that weekend on Friday, so I'm heading out there on my job, and my employer called me back. I got as far as Kenora. Friday, there was a huge accident on the highway, closed off the from Kenora right to the border. My employer called me back, so had to go
Yeah.
back. Couldn't
Yeah.
get couldn't get to go to Beaujolais, but man, that I was looking for all kinds of ways to get back out there again, which means I would have had to drive out there and drive back again. So yeah, it just yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that
Well, you
race all
missed.
year.
Looks like you missed some great racing, but
Yeah,
they had
did
the
amazing.
live stream, so
Yeah,
that was awesome.
they had a great live stream package. It was
Yeah.
great. Only a few cameras, but still, you got the gist of the racing. They did a great job of the streaming,
Yeah.
and it was a private, I guess a private company that
Yeah.
did it for them.
Yeah,
So yeah, awesome job. The racing
and
though.
a lot of lot of interest. I mean, what was there, 25, 26 Formula or Champ 440s there?
Yep.
And so that was huge. I mean, there was a lot of, all the racers that, have been kind of dominating Gunner and Blaine, but on the Wall Brothers sled. But boy, they did. There was some good racing there. I was really impressed with Travis McDonald on his sled, that
He stepped it
MPH
up a bit.
racing
Yeah.
sled. Oh
And
yeah, he was right
Goody.
there with those guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
giving them
And
everything they could handle.
Goody ran really good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
and um, Eagle River is going to be a good race. I think there's
yeah.
again
Oh
those guys are so competitive,
yeah.
all very close. Stern, Stevenson, Olson,
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
Blaine, unfortunately, on Saturday he had a good run going, and there was a restart, and then if you watch the start, his sled lagged off the start, and he basically finished mid pack. So something happened to his sled there, so he lost out on that one. But Stern, both days,
Yeah. He
he
was
crushed it.
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, crushed it.
Yeah. So
So
they've got a they've got a good core group of race teams there, and it's nice to see Oval coming back. And there was a lot of good vintage racing there, stock racing. I mean, it was
Formula,
just a yeah,
yeah,
the
Formula
Formula.
500.
Yeah, yeah. So just solid racing there. And you and me, the last time we were at Valcor a few years ago, and there's nothing like watching those sleds scream around an oval track.
Yeah,
Snowcross is so exciting. I mean, the jumps and the big money that's in that. But boy, you see those machines flying around the track. It's takes you back to the old days when Villeneuve and the Visser's and
yeah,
Dale
yeah,
Loritz and all those guys were screaming around the tracks. It was
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, but at least the Beaujeu race looked great. Let's see, both days. The Formula Three class looked pretty promising.
yeah,
Good turnout splits, and there's only going to be more
yeah,
when you get to the next race.
yeah,
There's going to be more contestants. There's always a third of the pack is not going to make it to the first race. They're just I
yeah.
mean they're
Right, they're
not
not
ready.
ready, or
They
it's
haven't been able to test.
yeah,
But before Beaujeu, I was talking to Tom Olson and asking him about his sled, and he's got a new sled this year, minor tweaks. Of
yeah,
course, I asked him what they were working on, and he was a little reluctant to say exactly what the Wall brothers were working on this year, but it definitely looked good. But man, Stern sled again, just that little tick more um, in the corners. Um, Stevenson had some great steam down the straightaways. Um, but yeah, Eagle River is going to be exciting for
oh
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but
All right. So what'd you think about Fargo?
yeah. Well, it looked awfully cold. no,
Yeah,
no shocker there.
I think it was
Um,
like now we're up in Canada here, so I was looking at the weather and it was, what was it, minus 20 or something
yeah,
Celsius? I'm just gonna look here.
and windy.
Uh, yeah,
I think that probably explains the spectator count. If you looked at the spectators, they couldn't have had a few hundred spectators there both days.
yeah, yeah.
But
Minus
that I
20,
mean,
minus 22 there right now. I think
yeah,
Winnipeg's about the same. It's super cold.
yeah, yeah,
So, and that's
windy.
Celsius for everybody. That's if you're in the States watching this. Sorry.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, they had. It was, yeah, you watch those guys on the start line there getting ready, and then somebody would hang up, and they'd be, boy,
yeah,
they were
yeah.
cold, getting jumping up and
So,
down, trying to keep the blood circulating. But boy, the racing was fantastic. It was
yeah.
super competitive. Like,
Cody Cam, man, he stepped it up this year. I mean, he won 2 out of 3 races this year. All this weekend, he had
yeah,
to win again today to get the $30,000 bonus.
oh, that
Didn't
would have
quite
been
do it.
something.
He was leading. He was
Yeah,
leading.
one
Didn't
lap
quite
to
do it.
go.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
and something happened with the last lap. They didn't show the last lap flag on that, so he was pissed.
yeah,
I don't know why, because I think Ishiel had his number when he passed him.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah, he lost out on he got 20 grand, but he lost out
yeah.
on the extra 10 grand, and that kind of prize money that hasn't been offered in ever, I
Oh
don't
no.
think.
Yeah, that's so
So
that was you know, there was a lot on the line there, and the teams are the Polaris sleds seem to be looking a lot stronger this year than they were last year. Skidoo made some changes on their sled this year. The rear suspension um, is different, I believe, but Polaris. I thought it was just going to be the same old, but they did a lot of tweaks on that machine, and it
yeah,
was
it
really
showed.
getting the whole shots.
If you looked at them going down the front straight whoop section, Cody especially was straight, like just standing up straight on the sled, like just completely straight. And the Skidoos, they were kind of twitching all over the place. You notice,
Yeah,
and the players they weren't doing that. So they've done something to definitely increase the stability of that sled over the jumps and over the bumps. It looked great. Even even O'Hare, another he ran good, and
yeah,
you know um,
yeah, and
Skidoo had Skidoo obviously had a good run. Today with Ishiel winning it, and with 2 laps to go, kind of 2 or 3 laps to
right,
go,
yeah.
um, and
Yeah,
our
he found a good line. It's like the announcers this year. It's Malinowski, right?
he's I don't think Milanowski wasn't announcing today. They had
No, who's the two announcers?
Haley is the one.
Yeah,
She's the regular,
yeah, but
and
the
the other one was
I think
a
it's
new
Mark
guy.
Melanow. I think it's Malinowski.
I think they announced that he was going to be announcing, but I don't think he was announcing this weekend.
Yeah,
I didn't notice him anyway. He's a pretty noticeable guy. You can notice him, but Haley does a great job
yeah.
doing. I mean, she's doing fantastic. Uh, oh, Mark says
Or it's
Robbie was
Rob.
announcing.
Sorry, Rob Malinowski. Sorry, that's
Yeah,
who it is, and
yeah.
he did a
Mark
great
says
job.
it was Robbie announcing.
Yeah,
So
so he did a great job because he was watching Ishmael, right, and he seen him he picked a line, right, that over those whoops there that he seemed to really gain a lot on Cody, and of course Cody doesn't know where he is, like he's really sneaking up on him, and then boom, he got him. So
got him.
yeah,
Cody was
but
pissed.
but it yeah, I know, but I think you're right. I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have caught him. But yeah, he led 90% of the race. So
Yeah,
that was tough. But anyways, great racing
yeah,
all the way around. I mean, there was a couple of guys. Um, the all Finnish racing Arctic Cat team lost their top driver, right?
yeah. I did. Yeah, yeah.
So he blew out
Um,
his knee, I guess. So that's scary. And then on what was it? Friday night? Was it Oscar Norum? Did that super high.
the super
He
jump.
nailed
Yeah,
that one jump there, and oh my, he was just flying, and
yeah.
he's lucky
Unreal.
he
Yeah,
didn't get. He
that
landed
was
that thing.
that was on a lot of the news and a lot of the digital news
Yeah,
uh,
it was crazy
magazines
height.
too.
Yeah, even Levi was saying, "Oh,
Yeah, well, it's those Europeans. They're not afraid to send it.
oh no, yeah."
Skidoo had a pretty good weekend. LaBelle obviously dominated by huge margins.
Now there's a guy
Um,
I thought he was going to go pro this year.
yeah,
Because
oh, he
he cleaned up last year too, right?
10 out of 12 races he won last year, and
Yeah, but
he had a winning streak going up to 10 races, I think, and then he finally lost the race.
right,
And then the kind of quasi teammate, the kid out of Canada, um,
Pelche
Dylan,
or Dylan,
um,
yeah.
yeah, Creighton. I remember last time I seen him, he was racing 120s,
Wow,
and now
yeah.
he's pretty much dominated the sport class this weekend.
So
Won,
this is the CSRA rider.
Yeah, he's just already write it out. Yeah, and he's going to be running both series.
Okay.
The family is definitely they're into it. The father and mother also race too,
Okay.
so they're all in. And so yeah, and they got great sled. He's also kind of quasi affiliated with the Theme Motorsports guys too, eh? Along
Okay.
with London Recreation, Mike
Yep.
Schmidt. Again,
Yep.
I mean, of all the sleds he's tuning, and he's probably got over a dozen. Um, So in yeah, he's doing a great job of tuning all the sleds.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's good. Awesome weekend. Awesome weekend.
Yeah.
Next one,
Yeah.
next one up is Canterbury. I think
Yeah.
I want to
Shakopee.
try. I want to maybe try to go down to that one. That's one I haven't been to.
Yeah.
I
There's
wouldn't
one you
mind going
could
to that
get
one.
to. Yeah. That's
So
the 16th of January. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for you being based in Thunder Bay, you're laughing.
Along a
You can.
big break, almost a month long break now. So
Okay.
the next race we'll be seeing is Eagle River, I guess.
Yeah. Have you
Um,
been to Shakopee before, Canterbury,
no,
or
I've never been to
no?
Shakopee. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I've been to Fargo a couple times. We did an indoor race there. Remember the stadium races?
Yeah. Right.
We
That's
did an
right.
indoor
Yeah.
super snowcross
The
inside
Super
the
Snowcross.
Fargo
Yeah.
Dome,
Yeah.
and it was freaking cold that weekend too. So I guess there's just no escaping it. You're always going to be in the cold there.
Yeah.
So
Now, something that also was going on this weekend, I'm pretty sure there was a big cross country, right? The first lake race for
oh yeah,
Bunky and Zach Herfindahl and that. I'm pretty sure it was this weekend. Let me just check
really? Huh.
and see if I can find anything here.
I
Um,
guess those Arctic Cats aren't going to be making any races this year, are they?
the
Yeah,
new sleds?
the
No.
Catalyst.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
any pre-production sleds, maybe in
Uh,
the pro class or something like that. Be
yeah,
interesting.
I don't think so.
One thing about Catalyst, it's not going to be out till 24. Um, you know what? I wouldn't be giving away a sled model a year ahead of time um, to the competition,
No?
especially Skidoo or Polaris, and give them time to react to something like that. That might have been the biggest mistake Articat made. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I suspect that the customer enthusiasm was yawning a little bit with Articat people wanting a new sled, and they probably had
Right.
to get some interest out there, and they sure
Yeah.
got it. They sure got it.
Yeah.
But man, releasing a sled that early, and no, I'm sure there's going to be some demo units running around.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
would think later in the winter there'll be you'll everybody will get a
yeah,
chance to get a ride on one.
but they're going to be giving the other OEMs an opportunity to react to that sled now, and they can react pretty fast now to stuff like
Yeah.
that. So be interesting. Anyway, it's good for Articat. I mean that they needed it. I guess the big question mark is what's Yamaha going to do um,
Right.
with the chassis and see what's going on there. So, but
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if that race went on this weekend.
there was a race at ERX this weekend too.
Okay.
It's a vintage sled, kind of a vintage fun. They call it funny Sunday or something like that. Is the series the old president of the WSA runs that now. It's another series
Okay.
run out of ERX.
Okay.
But
All right. So what else we got going on?
well, I don't know. You see, this was we're for the future. We're probably going to be doing try to do one once a week of these shows. It's going to bounce back between days because our schedules don't always, you know, get
Jive.
together like they do on Sundays here.
Right.
But we will from now on announce on Facebook appointments that when we're going to do these and they're probably going to be about a half hour long. And if something really interesting comes up, maybe we can do two shows a week. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. This is being obviously live streamed on YouTube and Facebook. So
Right.
looking forward to see how it goes.
Is the
Mark,
agreement
I
between?
don't really know about that agreement.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is still enforced this year,
yeah,
but who knows what's going to happen with the Arctic Cat and Yamaha. I think you're like me. You like the Yamahas. Big fan of them, but yeah, big question mark. All my friends at Yamaha Canada have departed now. I had several friends at Yamaha Canada, and so it's all my good contacts.
right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on at Yamaha these days. So, but certainly good sleds. I mean, I'd like them to start building their own chassis again. Opinion, wouldn't you,
Right.
Hal? Or
Yeah, I
just
mean, but I don't think that's, I mean, it doesn't, I
it's a
don't
lot of
think
money
that's
these
gonna,
days.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
So,
you never know, but yeah,
but
if they did, it'd be pretty amazing because there's sure a lot of Yamaha faithful out there, you know, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Arctic Cat, they want their own chassis and their own motors, and Yamaha wants their own chassis and own motors, and yeah, I
yeah,
mean it certainly worked out good for them for the past several years, but
right.
I think everybody wants their own product. Uh, the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the uh, the Japanese chassis from Yamaha and Arctic Cat guys want their own motors,
yeah,
so which I completely
yeah,
understand. So
yeah,
anyway,
and
anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. I think in the future, we almost had Phil Molto on tonight, but on a Sunday he had relatives coming over, so we missed out on him. But we're gonna be with this new system I got. We'll be able to add people, add some race team managers on here, and get that going, and has some live racers on here, and it should be pretty good. It should work out pretty good, I think. I think it was a pretty. We can call it kind of a success tonight, can't we, Hal?
yeah, I think so. I mean, it was our first go around on it,
Yeah,
and I know there's lots of these shows out there, but hopefully we can bring our insight into snowmobiling. Like we've got a lot of years between the two of us. I'm over 50 plus years, and you're probably just the same. So
yeah, yeah,
we've got a lot of experience in the sport, and of course, once the snow flies and the trails open, we'll be out on the trails and giving reports on our equipment and racing and vintage and whatever anybody wants to talk about here. We're wide open. So,
yeah. I got some more. Yeah,
um,
thanks a lot, Blaine. I appreciate your comment. Yeah, we're going to keep doing this, and it should evolve into a bigger show. For now, I'll probably keep it at close to 30 minutes, but as more races come on throughout the year, we'll add more time.
yeah,
But anyway, thanks everybody. Like, subscribe to the show and on Facebook, and keep leaving your comments. Hal and I will read the comments, and we'll do what we can to make the show even better. So
yep.
take care, everybody. Thanks a lot, Hal.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Take care.